All right, so day 8 out of 500. Welcome to my channel. This is a semen retention nofap challenge that I'm doing. Making daily videos. I'm going to be talking about random stuff, whatever's on my mind. So today it's going to be about fasting. Um, I'm actually fasting right now. I'm only doing an 18-hour fast. But a guy reminded, I forgot his name. I think it was Jason. Guys, on my channel. He recommended a video about fasting. And then like I said, he reminded me to actually fast myself. I haven't done it in a while. So this is going to be very just surface level. When you're fasting and on semen retention has tremendous benefits. So fasting alone, I think it starts at either hour 16 or hour 18 of no food, where your body goes into autophagy mode, where it's kind of like a clean out process where your cells kind of eat the damaged or waste that's been lingering in your body because you've always been in a fed state. So when you really have a lot of energy, you have a lot more energy to take care of and put this mechanism in place. And it only gets in place when it's only activated when you're not eating. So when you're doing that on top of semen retention, we know that semen retention already gives a lot of energy. So it's like a super cleanup mode for your body, and it like really helps to remove any sort of brain fog. It's almost like a reset, depending on how far you want to go. But it's like a little reset for your body. Even at 18 hours, it's a small reset. So I recommend. I'm actually glad I'm doing this because it's only day 8 out of 500. It's like another way to reset your body. After a relapse, after a slip up. It just really helps rebalance your body. It helps to put it back in a state of balance and harmony, homeostasis. I used to do a lot of research about fasting. I'm trying to recall like what else I know about it. It's just very good for your body. I mean, this is not one of those deep videos, guys, about fasting. I wish I could tell you more right now. All I know, as of now, in this moment, it's extremely beneficial for you. I know a lot of people have a lot of different questions. I'm not going to be able to answer all your questions in this video. But just know, from what I remember through just like the emotional memory of fasting and being on semen retention, I remember having like the best times ever, because you would think like, oh, well, I have to eat to have energy. Well, really, like what you're doing is like, depending on what day you're on, that energy that you are not wasting by keeping the seed is like really helping you. It's really assisting you while you're fasting. So if someone was like living a really degenerate lifestyle and always eating pizza and always going to fast food restaurants and just fapping all the time, having sex all the time, and then they're like, hey, I'm gonna go fast, they would probably have a really, really, really difficult time fasting. So there's obviously spiritual aspects to fasting as well. Talking about getting rid of demons, getting rid of soul ties. Because for some reason, see, it says this in the Bible about, some demons only come out, or some evil entities only come out by fasting and prayer. So prayer is a direct communication to God. We got that figured out, right? So you're spending time with God. You're reading the Bible. You're just simply talking to Him. It doesn't have to be a religious thing that the world tries to convince the mindset that you need to be in this certain place or area and do these certain movements and follow the crowd in a religious way. You don't, you just sit quietly, meditate, talk to God, let Him talk to you. Read your Bible if you want, read a scripture too, meditate on that. So that's prayer and fasting while you're denying yourself food. So we're denying the sexual desire. That's a type of fasting actually. And that eradicates the spirits of lust, because we know the spirits of lust love men who partake in lust. So when you're watching the sites and participating in a sensual desire, satisfaction for just a pleasure, and personal feel good reasons, then it seems to, what I've recognized in my whole life so far is it seems to attract that type of entity in the spiritual realm. So your beacon kind of like lights up, so to speak. It's like, oh, this guy's lusting. Let's go out and see what's up. Let's try to get some as well. Let's try to get that feeling, because these lust spirits want nothing but lust, and the only way they can get that satisfaction or that feeling again is by other living, breathing human beings partaking in that act. So when you're fasting in that way, you're denying that lust spirit, and they hate you for it. It's an illusion, because like they'll get you that desire, like they'll make you feel like the urge, right? The temptation. And we all know how the porn sites work. We know how your own mind works sometimes too. It's like we all know it's stupid once it's done, but when you're in the moment, it just seems like beautiful, And then when you're done, it's like the succubus that you thought was really beautiful and lovely and becoming turned into a big fat ugly witch. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, but that's the whole state of it. So the illusion always becomes like exposed after the deed is done. But this is what you realize on semen retention. The longer you go, it's like you're denying those spirits of lust. You feel more pure for a reason, because the spirits of lust do not want to attach to you. Like to them, it's like very, very unattractive to a spirit of lust of a person living in a purity mind state and bodily function, right? So on terms of food, there's also other spirits who love men and women who eat all the time, always eating Burger King, this and fast food and just all sorts of stuff. And no matter what type of wisdom or knowledge comes their way into the ears of like, hey, fasting is beneficial, or this type of food is bad for you, and there's scientific proof laid out in the groundwork of everything of what's truly good for you, fruits and vegetables and nuts and good organic grains and stuff like that. It's because the reason why they might hear you, but they won't take it into action, is because there's a spirit attached to them, which is a spirit of gluttony. And we all have issues, like that we all got our demons, we all got weaknesses, right? We're not perfect in always resisting every single type of sin all day, every day. So the more we realize what our weakness is, because some people might be really good at eating healthy, but maybe they have a weakness in fapping, right? So recognize your own weaknesses. Maybe you don't need to specifically fast because you're not a glutton type of thing. You're very moderate with what you eat. You're very in tune with what you eat because it's healthy. But at the same time, I think there's still benefits to periodically fast because of the whole autophagy mechanisms that like kick in and activate. And it's basically, like I said, long story short, guys, what fasting does biologically is it's like a clean out process. And that's basically it. I know there's a lot more than I'm not talking about, but you can find plenty of YouTube videos about people who get into the nitty gritty of fasting. But I believe the benefits do start around 16 to 18 hours. And 24 hours is pretty good. You can always go longer, It's up to you, what you're comfortable with starting off. Do a lot more research, figure it out, what you need to do, what you got to do. But yeah, that does, on a spiritual level, detach any form of gluttony where you just feel like, oh man, I got this cake from a birthday party, but it's in your fridge and you shouldn't eat it. You should probably just throw it away. I've done that plenty of times, right? I knew things had like sugar in them, and there's a justification of like, well, it's organic sugar, it's not that bad for you. But I know myself. I know how I get when I eat sugar. I know how I am. I know it's a self-control issue as well. I was thinking about this earlier today. It's like self-control is not just gained from semen retention. Self-control is gained from other areas of your life, such as eating. Choosing not to have that piece of cake is a choice that will strengthen that will. It really does. Because it's like when you got dishes in the sink and you don't do them, you just say, I'll do them another day. That weakens your self-control, that weakens your willpower. And then when little areas of this add up in little tiny things, I feel like the enemy would come at you and say, hey, this might be an opportune time to try to attack this individual to get him to fap. Because we all know that's the big leak of energy. So stay on point with every other area of your life if you can. You miss one day making your bed, it adds up. So we gotta seek to gain self-control in other areas of life, including food. And I think fasting is one great way to do it, because man, what I've noticed when I break my fast, I'm more aware of what I'm putting in my mouth, what I'm eating. I always like to break my fast no matter what length of time it is with bone broth. It's like one of the best things in my opinion. But yeah, man, I'm just way more aware of like, oh yeah, this is affecting my body. Because when you always are in a fed state, you're like not really aware. Like you're guided by your taste buds and how it tastes, and that's it. You're like, oh, this tastes so good. This tastes that most humans go by that when they eat dinner. They don't say, I wonder if this is actually good for my body. I wonder how this food that I'm eating right now is partaking in the benefit of the human body and growth and does my body really appreciate this or like this, or is it strictly with my tongue, with my taste buds? Now, food is meant to be enjoyable. Food is meant to be pleasurable. This is a gift from God. I don't know if you guys have ever had fresh squeezed oranges, but to me, that's the Lord's soda pop, man. That's the Lord's soda pop. It's like every time I drink fresh squeezed orange juice or any type of fruit juice or even vegetable juice, man, it's just like I chuckle and I giggle. It's like my body is making me realize, that, man, I like this drink. This drink is epic, And I promise you, I always like smile. It's just like one of those things, man. So it's meant to be a pleasurable thing, but we all know the devil has a knockoff, the, what are those called? The ho-hos, the little Debbie snacks. They got so many names that actually have like the devil in it, like the wording, like wicked. And it's all like these cakes and frostings and goodies and sweeties that taste unnatural, but it's like it's like candy, you know what I'm saying? It's not natural. Real candy is like grapes, seeds, nuts, like fruits, you got oranges, apples, plums, pears, all that stuff, man, like pineapple, all that stuff is so delicious on the tongue, and that's a good pleasurable way of doing it. It's like it goes like with sex too. It's like when you have sex in a holy matrimony between the man and the wife in a marriage bed, and you guys are just for each other, it's a very lovely, wonderful thing, to express your love in that way. But we all know that's a pleasurable thing. That's why you get a pleasure out of it, is because it's meant to be pleasurable with your wife, But that's what masturbation is, like the perversion from the devil. It's perversion, That's why I literally I mean, I laugh at the end of the conversation, but when I hear other Christians, because the worldly people, hey, I understand that they're confused, but when I hear other Christians in the church say masturbation is not a sin, I'm like laughing. I'm laughing at them, bro. I'm like, what? Don't you realize the devil he's the perversion. He's the perversion of everything that is good and pure and pleasurable. So it goes back to the taste buds. It goes to every energy type. There'll always be a knockoff. There'll always be a fake. So instead of grapes, you got like suckers and candy, you know what I'm saying, so on and so forth. So when you fast, it brings you back into an awareness. When you fast and you pray of like what is truly good for your body, So that's all I really wanted to talk about today, day 8. And yeah, man, I hope you guys are doing good. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about fasting and praying and everything I talked about while on semen retention. Does it help you on your path of semen retention even more? It does for me in many ways. So it's a well-rounded benefit, a well-rounded thing to have, and like a tool in your toolbox of health and wellness, is fasting. So incorporate that, research it, figure it out, and if it works for you, man, I think you'll benefit from it. But yeah, man, have a good day, guys. Peace.